Hello, friend, and welcome. If you're new here, I'm super excited to meet you. And if you're returning, I hope you're having a much better day than last time that we talked. In this video, we're just going to talk about what it is that we need to know right now about now. And I just want to remind you that my videos do include a little bit of shadow work along with intuitive messages with the tarot and oracle cards. So let's see what the cards have to tell us about what it is that we need to know right now. And I want to remind you too that sometimes what we need isn't obvious. What we think we need seems obvious, but there's a lot of times there's more underneath the surface that needs to be worked through. And okay, I want both of these, so we'll do it in this order. And the point of these readings is to help you get to that surface thing, or not to get to the surface, but to get to below the surface, to help you get to the root of the issue. Crisis. So, if you live in the States right now, this kind of feels like a state that we're all living in right now. And it's one of these things where when crisis comes about, we like to ask why with an expected answer of a logical reasoning. And that's not how life works, unfortunately. Crisis happens. Sometimes man-made 100%. A lot of times, other times it's nature-made. We can't control the weather, we can't control earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, we can't control those things. So, as I'm seeing this card, yes, crisis is part of the reason, 100%. But I need you to know that there is nothing you could have done that could have prevented it or helped you in this moment to prepare you for this. A lot of times when we find ourselves in crisis, we look at ourselves and try to blame ourselves or figure it out and who to cast the blame on. And the truth is, even if there is people to cast blame on, in the moment, just know that you're doing the best that you can and focus on that. There's not going to be an easy explanation for why this is happening. And the want to ask why is a natural human reaction. I just want to say that real quick. It is a natural human reaction to want to know why, the reason. But the issue is going to be that you're going to be looking for something that follows logic, and these things never have logic sound. Truth. This message comes across kind of heavy because it's one of those things where it's like, yes, if you take a closer look, you're going to find the truth. And the truth might be ugly. The truth might not be anything that you can even do anything about. When I'm seeing this card today, it's coming across and saying that if you look closer, there's an answer, but it's not an answer that's going to be satisfying. It's not an answer that's going to make sense of anything. It's not an answer that's going to justify anything. It is just the truth. And unfortunately, while that's no consolation whatsoever, it is something to be understood that you can't change the truth, but what you can do is you can accept that it is the truth and then figure out how you want to handle, how you want to act, how you want to react, how you want to go about that knowledge and move forward knowing that that's the truth. Heartbroken. This makes complete sense with the first two cards that I have here. There's heartbreak, there's grief, there's loss, there's, real sense of injustice and, just morality and everything hurting right now, and I get that. Understand that during this time right now, you're okay if you cry, if you want to scream, if you just, don't know how to handle things outside of through emotion. And as long as you aren't hurting yourself or anyone else, release the emotions in whatever way you need to. Just give yourself the chance to actually feel them. Because what we're going through and what you're going through, it's not something that you can just glaze over or bypass. There's no shortcut. You have to also handle the emotions that come with this. Glow up. What I always love about this card, first off, is glow up does not say grow up. A lot of times when people go through difficult situations, they tend to want to be like, oh, well, this is just helping you grow. And there's a time and a place for that. Because yes, struggle does help you grow. But there's a time and a place for it. And before you can go through growth, you have to go through a glow. What do I mean by that? It doesn't matter how much it rains. A flower or a tree will never be able to grow unless it finds sunlight. Because if it just keeps raining and raining and raining, the flower or the tree or, whatever other type of plant you want to go through is just going to drown. It needs sunlight. So the glow up is that sunlight phase. And I'm not saying that the sunlight phase is coming through and making everything magically better. That's not what I'm getting at here. The glow up is you finding reasons to, be part of the sun again. And when I mean part of the sun, I mean go about your day or, just to shine for shining's sakes. I'm not saying that it's going to, cause all this to go away. That's not what I'm getting at here, 100%. But what I am saying is you will find something renewed inside of you that's going to help you move forward. And it might start small at first, and that's okay, that's normal. But this glow up is going to be within you first, and it's going to be you finding your way back to the sun, so that way you can go through whatever growth is necessary in order to help you get through this next phase. But right now is not a growth phase, it's a glow phase. So if you need to, continue to retreat and find the cocoon over blankets and whatever else that you need to do in order to help you through this process, that's fine. Just know that you're going to be going through some type of glow up where you're going to feel warmth again. You're going to feel curiosity, maybe a spark, even maybe a slight smile might show up on your lips. Just know it's coming. Defense mechanisms. I think this is the first time that this card comes through with the understanding that you do have defense mechanisms that you can use in order to help you through this. Normally when I get this card, it's a reminder that your defense mechanisms are outdated. But this time, for the first time that I've ever read this card, it's literally you have defense mechanisms, you have coping mechanisms, you have things that can help you during this time. And utilize them. Utilize them and don't necessarily stay in them constantly because that doesn't do you anything, but know when you need them and know when it's okay to put them down. Also, the caveat I want to give with defense mechanisms here is you don't want to wear your suit of armor all day. You do need to sleep at some point, and you do need to let yourself be seen and known to the people who you can be safe with. So defense mechanisms is also coming through and asking for discernment. Discernment of when you need to use it, and discernment of when it's okay for you to allow yourself to be open and vulnerable. Because both are necessary right now, and it's real confusing on when to do maybe one or the other. But if you go with your gut, I think your gut will lead you in the right way. Even if you're someone who's never practiced with intuition or worked with intuition, when it comes to these types of situations, if nothing else, you can't trust your intuition, you can typically trust your gut. Looking at the cards that we have, I want to know kind of what is working against us right now. And when I say that, I understand that you're going to be like, the crisis, the thing that's holding me here. Trust me, I get that there's an obvious answer, but I also think that there's an answer that is, how do I say it? I think that there's an answer that's a bit deeper, rooted into something else. That, yes, this crisis, again, something I said you couldn't prepare for, and I meant that. The way we respond to things and the way that we react to things often is very coded into what happened to us at earlier stages of our life. And the fact that you're watching this right now tells me that, yes, you went through something, you're going through something, I get that. But there's something bigger and deeper beneath the surface that if we can get to the identity of that, then you will be able to find that this is going to be a smoother transition. I'm not necessarily saying that it's going to be a less bumpy road. I'm just saying instead of the car, constantly stalling, you're going to find your car actually working properly and moving forward no problem. Hope that metaphor made sense. Page of Swords. So this just tells me that we're in a new paradigm shift, a new thought process, and I get that. That's confusing, that's aggravating, that makes things that you used to know seem trivial, and things that seem trivial seem important, and it just kind of sends you into a spiral sometimes. That being said, I want to remind you that pages are always new. I don't care how old you are, it's about you, starting something new, and it's not necessarily something that you wanted. That's fine. I mean, it sucks, but what I'm trying to get here is with this Page of Swords is right now, don't beat yourself up for not understanding everything. Because you're not meant to understand everything. You're meant to be experiencing, and as you experience, you're meant to learn. It's just like when you start a new job, you have to learn the job before you can get good at the job. And as you're learning the job, you're going to mess up. That's part of the learning experience, and it's completely normal and natural. So right now, what you're going through is new, and it's uncomfortable, and it's unfamiliar territory, and I do get that. But it's unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to see it, it's part of the process. And the discomfort is part of that territory as well. The universe. Some type of completion, some type of full cycle, some type of chapter that is closed and you never have to go through again. I'm going to come back to the universe because that feels like the full message for this card, but I feel like the more tarot cards I get, the more I'm going to understand how the universe fully applies here. Knight of Pentacles. Knights like to move, they like to go, they like to do. But Pentacles is the only knight, because it's the earth energy, that likes to have things in their own time. Pentacles understands that everything has a reason, a season, and a place. Earth energy likes to see things go from spring to summer to fall then winter, and understands that if things get rushed, that things aren't going to turn out well. So when I see the Knight of Pentacles in its reverse position, that tells me that something feels rushed or forced, and that rushed or forced momentum is a resistance that is hurting you. I get that. And as I see this Knight of Pentacles, it's that reminder that even though you might want to go faster, you might want to, see things move quicker and go through this quicker, that there are still natural processes that you need to go through in order to heal and process this. Just like you can't rush a plant or a tree's growth, you can't rush this process. The Moon. The Moon in its upright position is more aggravating than when it's in its reverse position. Because in its upright position, it's one of those where you have so much information, but no clarity on what any of it means. The Moon, to me, is like when you first get a puzzle and you dump out the box and you're about to, start with the puzzle. You don't even have the edge, the border yet made. You just have all the pieces dumped out. That's what the Moon card is. And then as you go with this information and figure out what to do, you have to slowly turn over the pieces, start with the border, or if you're normal like me and you start with the border. I know people who don't. I shouldn't call you abnormal, but that might be one of my silly hills to die on. Back to my puzzle metaphor here, though. The point that I'm trying to get across is, however you do a puzzle, you need to allow yourself to take the time to let each puzzle piece get turned over and fall into its own place. And again, that's aggravating. But the Moon also comes with the understanding that the answers are internal, they're not external. That if you want to find the clarity and you find the things that you're looking for, you're going to have to go inside. You're going to have to go into yourself and trust yourself. If that is hard for you to do, and then I suggest prayer. And I'm not talking about if you're a Christian, I was very taught very formalized prayer, yada, yada. Eh. Prayer is literally you just talking to the wind and telling the wind your problems. You can do that. That's prayer. So work with me here when I say just talk it out. But I'm not necessarily trying to get you to talk to someone else. I'm trying to get you to talk in a way that it's through solitude, so that way you can hear your own voice without it being influenced by another, without it being reduced by another, without it being translated by another, so that way you can know what's going on inside of you, so you can get the full picture and you can get the message that's meant for you. The Hangman in its reverse position. Okay, now I understand this universe card. The Hangman in its reverse position comes through, and again, it's this knowledge that you have that you don't know what to do with yet. And the story I like to tell with the Hangman, it's kind of funny, is that you walk into your kitchen and you slip on a banana peel. When you slip, you fall underneath your kitchen table. And then when you look up, you realize there's a huge crack in your kitchen table. And now you have some choices. When you get up, you can do something about the fact that you have the crack in your kitchen table, or you can continue to use your kitchen table as you always have, pretending like that crack's not there. But what you can't do is you can't take away the knowledge of the crack in the table. So when I get the Hangman into reverse position, it's literally at the stage where it's like you have information, but what do you do with the information that you have? So let's go back to the kitchen table metaphor. You know, you might not know how to fix a kitchen table. I know I wouldn't if I saw a huge crack in it. But what I do have the ability to do is I do have the ability to go to the internet and search Google or YouTube or whatnot and figure out how to fix it. And if I can't do it that way, then I have the ability to, look up people who can fix it and reach out to them. And I have options from there to continue to move forward. So understand that we live in an era where information is plethora and available, but moving forward, it's not a matter of you knowing how to do the things that need to be done. It's more important about you knowing how to handle and respond to the things that you need to do. And I want to get back to this universe card because I just want to say real quick too, the universe is the typical world of the major arcana in the, tarot deck here. And as I see this full story, I see that, there's definitely something where you're going through a huge paradigm shift. That is unavoidable between the Page of Swords, which is about your intellect, and the, Hangman in its reverse position, which is all about that paradigm shift. But then we have these three cards here, and the universe is saying that this was going to happen. This didn't necessarily come as a surprise. You saw where this was all going, and that doesn't make it easier. And I'm not trying to say that that makes this grief or this, crisis easy. It doesn't. But what I am saying is, this is the only card of the universe or the world that I have that is an all-seeing eye. And that tells me in this moment that you saw it from it, whatever this thing is, from its beginning till its final stage. And now that it's over, it's hard for you to understand that it's over. So I wasn't sure at first with this top portion if the crisis is ongoing or if it's over. Again, if you live in the States and you're watching this at the time recording, I know that that crisis is nowhere near complete. I'm talking about a personal crisis at this point. I'm talking about you, and I'm talking about what you're going through. And I understand you're probably like, Kirsten, there is so much work I still have to do. What are you talking about? The crisis is over. The initial crisis is over. The initial threat is over. The earthquake that happened is over. The, hurricane is over. Yes, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of rebuilding. There's a lot of restructuring that needs to be done. But the initial threat is over. And this Knight of Pentacles here is you wanting to get to that rebuilt stage quicker and just get this whole thing done. But that's not how this is going to work, unfortunately. And this is not going to be something that you can just magically wish will fix itself or get done in a week when it's going to take months. This is something that's going to take time. So allow yourself to understand that you don't need to know how it's all going to get done. You don't need to know how it's all going to come together. You don't need to know the how. You just need to know, like you'd have with the puzzle box, that you have that picture on the, the box itself of what the puzzle is. That is what you're going for. That is what you're doing. That is your goal. And you're going to figure it out day by day, hour by hour, as you keep flipping those pieces over, as you keep doing things for yourself, as you keep taking what you need to do and allow yourself to have the ability to work with the emotions, to do the mundane, to, seek help when you need help, to reach out to people when you need to reach out, to allow yourself to retreat when you need to retreat. Every time you do something like that, it's going to reveal more of that house. So it's going to reveal that bigger picture. So that way, at the end of, this time, you'll eventually see the full picture and you'll see how it was all laid out. Now is not the time for you to know the full picture. Now is the time for you to move forward with the knowledge that you have. Know that this is going to happen and it's going to take time, and that is okay because it's part of the process. But remember, the initial danger is over, and just move forward. I want to ask the cards for what our next steps are to help us get through this turbulent time. There's no way to deny the fact that this is hard and difficult. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this and be like, it's going to be easy and, you're going to find something amazing about yourself through this process. You probably will find something amazing about yourself through this process. That happens more times than not whenever I go through something like this. But I'm not here to give you, the shimmer, the glimmer, the, sugar baked bakery hope. I'm here to be real with you. Because real is what you need. And you need to know that this process is a process. So let's ask for next steps. Healing energy. I love the depiction of healing energy in this card. Because that handprint is very dark. And then the aura that it gives on the immediate external of it is still a purple dark. But then all around it is that light. And this is that reminder that sometimes, a lot of times, actually, not just sometimes, true healing comes when you go into the darkness. But in that darkness, you'll find light. And I don't say this easily. I don't say this willy-nilly. As a survivor of abuse and someone who's had to pick herself up multiple times for different things, understand that I've had to go internal and I've had to face my own inner demons and find my own light and my own truth. But every time I did it, it sucked in the moment, but afterwards I would feel a relief. I would feel a weightlessness that I didn't have beforehand. And I would know that there was something good, something lovable about me. And that helped me more than I can count. Also, what I like about this card, and I want to talk about before I get to the next, is this external light. If you go for it and you don't do the internal darkness, that's just going to end up being noise. You don't want noise. You want true healing. So let yourself experience it. Oh wait, I already put them in order. Sexual energy. Alright, so this might seem like an odd card, and I should probably put my thumb specifically here because YouTube. This is coming across with a very interesting message, but it's one of those things where don't confuse this type of energy with I'm gonna say with comfort, in the sense of yes, there's a reason for this energy. This energy helps you to remember, things about yourself that you'd forgotten, and you don't need a partner. Solo is possible. What I'm getting at here is this energy can help when you need a little bit of a boost. This energy can really help you when you're feeling, there's no way out of the darkness or the gloominess or whatever. And I'm not saying it's a reliable, coping mechanism. I'm not. But, I've used it to help me through some dark times. And it's one of those where if you do have a partner that you trust and love, then this really does help heal and, connect in an intimate way. But if you don't have a partner, even when I've had to do the solo, I've found myself afterwards and just happy to know that there's something that can help me feel, some type of positive emotion, if even for a little bit. It's like a little bit of a reprieve from something that's even bigger, that's always with you. And sometimes you just need those little moments. I'm going to pause for a minute. All right. I just needed to make sure that I took care of that word. All right, next card. Honoring your energy. This one's huge as well. Because honoring your energy is reminding you that you do have to still have boundaries. You do still need to make sure that you fill up your cup. And that could just be you taking a shower and eating. And I get that can be hard some days. That could also be, you telling people, no, not right now. I need more time for myself. And that's okay too. Honor your energy is one of those things where you need to trust and do what's best for you. That being said though, if you sleeping all day in bed is actually hurting your energy and your energy wants to do something, I'm not saying you have to go out and be part of the world, but maybe take a short walk if you can take a short walk. Even if it's inside your house because you don't want to be outside yet. Allow the energy to move. That is still honoring your energy. And as long as you honor that energy with whatever it needs and whatever it's calling for, it's going to help you more as you move forward. It's all good. Every time I see this card, I remembered of my first reaction to it, and it was like a total slap in the face. Hear me out though. This card kind of has like that ripple looking to it, and it's that reminder that whatever you're going through, it sucks, and I'm not taking it away from you. I'm 100% giving you that it sucks. The card of It's All Good comes through and it reminds you that you can get through this. That this isn't something that's going to end you or stop you. This is just a transition phase. A very shitty transition phase. A difficult transition phase. But just as when you first plop a rock into a water and the ripples go, right now you're just in that initial plop. And no one likes the initial plop. But what we do like is as the ripples spread, that is you, getting more and more into your new version of normal, whatever that may be. That's the point of this card. It's not that it's all good now, it's that there is good to come of this. And I say that again, not talking about the political nightmare that we live in the United States right now. Talking about your own personal life. That's all I'm saying. This is about you, not about political nightmare. I just want to ask the cards for some encouragement now, because I know that this is a difficult period. I know that what you're going through can't just easily be explained or talked away. I know it's something that has to be worked through, and I know that this journey isn't meant to be fun and games, and that itself is aggravating as well. So the card that flew up first, your fire is sacred. This is really important for you to remember, because this is something that's really easy to forget amidst chaos and just despair. Your fire is sacred. You're probably like, Kirsten, I don't even think I have a fire anymore. You do. If you're watching this video, you have a fire. And I say that because I know that fire might be real small and it might just be embers, but embers they still have fire in them. And if you give those embers enough oxygen, they will reignite and that fire will grow. So yes, your fire might not be roaring, blazing like a bonfire, but there is a fire within you. And that fire is what's going to continue to help you move forward. And your fire is sacred. Because you are sacred. And whatever you're going through right now, it sucks, it's shitty, and I'm not going to take that away from you, but you're going to overcome it. Make noise. Okay, so this is a unique message that I'm getting with this card, because the first thing I heard in my mind's eye when I heard make noise was play music, dance, watch TV, a show that you like to watch, like maybe a program on Netflix or something like that. Allow yourself to just have noise that's benefiting you in some way. Again, listening to music, watching a favorite movie, whatever you need to do. Or maybe the noise you need to make is something along the lines of dishes or laundry. Those make noise too, but if they're making noise, that means life is happening. And sometimes that's enough for your nervous system to be like, oh, okay, we can continue to move forward. Because it's noise that is normal and regular to your nervous system. And so hearing those noises too help. So whatever you need to do to make noise, allow yourself to do it. And don't think about it too hard. Just do what feels right. Show up scared. This one's easier said than done, but it's important. Because this is that reminder that you're not going to have it all figured out. But even when you're still trying to figure it out, even when you're still working on those puzzle pieces, you still need to show up for yourself. Even if you don't know what that means, even if you don't know what the next step is, it's still important. And showing up for yourself can look like a myriad of different things. It could be you getting one dish done. It could be you taking a shower. It could be you going out to get groceries. It could be you showing up to work for the first time since everything's happened. It could be you getting a new job. It could be you, meeting up with a friend that you haven't talked to in a little while. Whatever show up means for you, do it for yourself. I also want to let you know that just because it says show up scared does not mean that you have to allow yourself to stay in a bad situation. It just means don't let fear keep you back. Small wins matter. If this is the only thing you get from this whole video, small wins matter, that is enough for me. Because the small wins, the small little things that you've done, the small little celebrations you see in your life are what are going to lead you and help you get closer to whatever your goal is. Each small step gets you further along this trail and path. Each small win is important. Even if it feels redundant, even if it feels trivial, it is still important because it's you still showing up for yourself. It's you still doing what you need to. It's you realizing that I can do this in small ways. And if you can do it enough times in small ways, eventually you'll start realizing that you're doing it in bigger ways. You can do this. And I get, this is a heavy message. The energy of this reading is heavy. And you're in a rough spot. And I'm not going to take that away from you. And I don't want you to think either that at any point you're doing any of this wrong, because you're not. Very clearly, there's no map. There's no instruction manual. There's nothing to say, go left here and then go straight for 3 miles, and when you go right, you're going to be at your destination. This is you walking around, figuring out, doing your best, and allowing yourself to learn as you go. But you know what? You're going to do it. You're going to succeed. You're going to show up for yourself over and over again. Not because I said so, but because I know you can. Because if you've made it to the end of this reading, to where we're at here, if you listen to every word I've said, your heart knows that there is truth in the words that I'm saying to you right now. And your heart already knows that what I'm saying is true. So if you can't believe in yourself, let me believe in you for you. And let that be enough to get you to that next step. Because you 100% can do this. And when you do it, come back and let me know. I want to hear about your success. And also, if you find that, this is, too scary for you and you don't know what to do and you just want to talk and vent or whatever, that's what the comment section below is for. Utilize it. Get it out. Say what you need to say. But this is your reading. And you are an amazingly strong person, and what you're going through sucks. There's nothing I can do that can make that better. But what I can tell you is that eventually, when you move forward enough, when you get enough of those small wins, you're going to find beauty, you're going to find peace, and you're going to find laughter again, I promise. I love you so much, and I cannot wait to see you again. Bye-bye.